Hello dear students, I welcome each one of you to this English class. Students, as you all are aware, we have a unit test 1 approaching. So, we shall be doing the revision of all the topics that are there for unit test 1. Today, we shall be covering the following topics. And I would like each one of you to be attentive during the revision. Let's begin. We shall now begin with the prose, that is chapter number 1, Meeting Suzanne, written by Michael Morpurgo. Remember the main character, a little boy named Yannick, who comes to stay at his uncle's place. There is Uncle Bruno, and he helps him at the inn. He gets to know about the best customer who will be coming for dinner at the inn. His cousin Amundsen tells him to take utmost care and to keep things in order. That evening, the customer arrives. He likes a creme brulee that Yannick has prepared, and he draws a sketch on a paper towel. After he has gone, Yannick clears the table and he picks the paper towel, having the sketch, and throws it in the fire. Amundsen rushes to retrieve it from the fire, but it is too late. She then fires Yannick. His uncle comes to his rescue. He tells Amundsen that it was her fault that she had not informed him about the visitor and that he was a famous artist. Had Yannick known, he would have not thrown the sketch in the fire. He then comforts Yannick. Yannick feels very sorry for Amundsen and he goes to her room to tell her sorry. But then Amundsen accepts her fault that she had not informed him about the visitor. Yannick then makes a plan. Next day he goes to the chateau where the famous artist stays. He thinks that the famous artist is Suzanne. He requests the famous artist to draw a sketch for his cousin, and the artist obliges. He then asks Yannick what he would like him to draw. So he asks that he would want him to draw boat. So the artist starts sketching and then he completes the sketch and gives it to Yannick. Yannick notices that at the bottom he has written Picasso. So Yannick first thought that the artist was Suzanne, but now he realizes he is none other than the most famous artist, Picasso. So that is the end of the story. Meanings: chateau means a castle. To look on the bright side means to look for good things in a bad situation. Creme brulee means a French dessert. Striding means walking. Monsieur is sir or Mr. in French. To be cross means to be angry. When the time came means at the right time. Puzzled, confused. Bustle, noisy activity. To dine is to have dinner. Question answers. Why did Amundsen shout at Yannick? Amundsen shouted at Yannick because he had thrown in the fire the sketch which the artist had left behind for them as a tip. Why did Yannick go to meet the artist the next day? Yannick went to meet the artist the next day so that he could request him to draw another sketch for his cousin. Later, when Yannick went to her room, Amundsen did not apologize. True or false? False. Yannick thought that the famous artist was Suzanne. There was a hustle at the inn because the best customer of the inn was to come there for dinner. How did Yannick realize that the artist was Picasso himself? Yannick realized that the artist was Picasso himself when he noticed that he had written Picasso at the bottom of the sketch. So students, we have completed this chapter. We shall now proceed to the next. Chapter number 2, The Wild Duck, written by Ramesh Gunasekera. So here there's a little boy who goes with his dad in a boat with carrying guns. They want to shoot the wild ducks. The father tries to aim but he fails. The little boy is very focused and is able to shoot a wild duck. The wild duck falls in the lake, so then they go rowing to pick it up, The boy is horrified to see the injured bird. He is shameful of his act and feels very sorry for the bird. Then he wants to carry it home. He takes it home and takes good care of the duck. He wants him to get well soon. He bandages the broken wings and feeds him. The father then asks him about the gun. Then the boy says that he has thrown away the gun because the gun reminds him of his shameful act. It reminds him that the incident when he had shot the wild duck. He is very shameful of it and he doesn't want to remember that incident again. So he has thrown away the gun. At first the father is angry, but then he realizes his mistake. It was he who had misguided the little boy. He now feels at peace that the boy has understood and is mature enough to understand the right thing, and feels happy that he has thrown away the gun. Let's take the meanings. Waddle means to walk with short steps, swinging the body from one side to another. Lopsided is not equally balanced. Defiantly is boldly refusing to obey. What is a way of expressing unpleasant surprise. Let's take the question answers. The boy looked at the birds in fascination because watching birds was his passion and he had never seen such a large number of birds together. Next question. The boy was frightened at what he had done. What had he done and why was he frightened? The boy had shot a wild duck and injured it. He was actually very fond of birds. He was shameful of his act and was now frightened that he had killed the bird. Students, we have completed this particular chapter. We'll proceed to the next. We shall now revise the poem Dust of Snow written by Robert Frost. Remember the central idea of this poem. The poet Robert Frost has highlighted the healing power of nature. There's this little boy who is very sad. He is standing under the hemlock tree. Just then a crow moves and the hemlock tree, which is covered with snow. So as the crow moves, a dust of snow falls on the poet. So his mood changes from sad to that of a happy one. So that is what the poet wants to say, that nature can give us so much of joy. He has highlighted the fact that even insignificant things can be instrumental in bringing us joy. Just as an insignificant tree like the hemlock tree which had the snow, and also an insignificant bird like the crow whose movement caused the dust of spray to fall on the poet and bringing so much of joy. So the poet says the insignificant things can be instrumental in bringing us joy. He portrays how anything that is compared as simple or unimportant can also give us immense joy. The rhyming scheme AB, AB. In the second verse, it is CD, CD. Meanings: hemlock tree, a conical evergreen tree, dust of snow, spray of snow particles. Given my heart a change of mood means change my mood. Rude is regretted. Which tree is mentioned in this poem? The hemlock tree is mentioned in the poem. Who was sitting on the hemlock tree? A crow was sitting on the hemlock tree. How does the mood of the poet change? The poet turns happy after a dust of snow falls on him. Who is the poet? The name of the poet is Robert Frost. We have completed this particular poem. Now we shall go to the grammar section. So let's revise the grammar topics 3 and 4. So the third topic is transitive and intransitive verbs. A verb that is followed by an object is called as transitive verb. Remember students, whenever a verb has an object following it, then it is transitive. For example, Ishan bought a new watch. The verb here is bought. What did he buy? A new watch. Renika hugged her mother. Whom did she hug? Her mother. So when we ask the question what or whom to the verb, then and if we get the object, you get an answer, then we can say that verb is a transitive verb. Have you understood, students? Whenever a verb is followed by an object, then that verb is transitive verb. Then intransitive verb is a verb with no object. It does not have a direct object on which the action is done. For example, Ronak laughed heartily. Can we ask a question on what he laughed or whom? No. So Ronak just laughed heartily. So it is an intransitive verb. Sneha worked hard. Can we ask a question on what? No. So worked is intransitive. Zora danced gracefully. So dance is intransitive. Remember, intransitive verbs have no object, direct object on which the action is done. Here are some exercises for you to work through. The principal declared the result. Renita helped a little brother in his project. And Saloni studies maths regularly. In these sentences, the verbs are transitive verbs. Whereas in the sentences, the kids played happily, Nathan worked hard, and Priyanka is studying regularly. In these sentences, the verbs are intransitive. There is an exercise for you to practice. I would want you to first try solving this, and the answers are given in the next slide. You can check your answers from this slide. Next topic, grammar 4, finite and non-finite verbs. A finite verb form changes whenever there is a change in the number of person of the object, of the subject. For example, I go to school. Now look at the verb go. In all the three sentences, the verb go, the form changes. For example, I go to school. Whereas Shreya goes to school. The children go to school. So students, you saw how the form of the verb go has changed in all the three sentences. So in such a case, the verb is called as a finite verb. In a non-finite verb does not change its form, irrespective of the number or person of the subject. Is it clear? For example, now just observe the verb go in all the three sentences. I want to go to school. Shreya wants to go to school. The children want to go to school. In all the three sentences, the form has not changed. So, such a verb is called as non-finite verb. There's an exercise for you to practice. You can solve it, and in the next slide, you will find the answers. First, you solve it and then check your answers in the next slide. Rishabh draws beautiful sketches. All kids love to eat sweets. Aaron always cracks jokes. You sing really well. Travis practices skating daily. Now in this exercise, you have to fill the blank with suitable infinite verbs. So here there's an exercise. You have to fill it yourself first and then check your answer in the following slide. So here are the answers. Ruben loves to draw sceneries. All the children love to draw sceneries. Melody waited for her turn to play on the swing. The children waited for their turn to play on the swing. So students, we have covered 2 prose chapters, a poem and 2 grammar topics. So I hope you have understood. And for the detailed explanation, I would like you to go to the videos of the respective chapters that had been done in the previous weeks, so that you can understand the concept, the chapters in detail. Yes, and for revision, you can follow this particular revision video. Students, please study diligently, put in your best, because so students, remember, practice makes man perfect. So only when you practice well, you will be confident of writing the correct answers during the test. So put in your best and God will do the rest. Take care and God bless you all. All the best.